So, well, we are just an hour away from the all important match between India and South Africa in Vizag, and I am joined by Trisha Ghoshal and Snehashil Mukherjee all the way from the ACA VDA Stadium in Vizag. Obviously, two teams had contrasting performance in recent times. India haven't looked in form when it comes to their batters. South Africa, after getting bowled out for 69 in the first match against England, they bounced back in style, winning the match against New Zealand. So, with me to talk about more, I have Trisha and Snehal. Trisha, as I can see right behind you, it's drizzling. So, what is the conditions like, and what do you reckon is it going to affect the start of the match?
Yes, right now it seems like because it's 2:02 here, 2:30 should be the toss, but it's drizzling for quite some time now. So I'm expecting the toss to be delayed a little, and from then on probably the match too will be delayed. Also, the kind of prediction that there is throughout the day, Debashish, I think the match will be a stop-start one. It will not continue for a long time. I think that's there. So probably it will be a shortened game. That is something that the captains have to keep in mind when they're going for the toss.
Now, talking about the toss, will it be a factor now if the game is curtailed?
Yes, absolutely. And now, if you see the condition right now, I think then toss will be a huge factor. I think in this condition, any team winning the toss will like to bowl first.
Absolutely.
And we know that be it India or be it South Africa, the new ball bowlers are there. And in this condition, they will love to bowl with that new ball. So I think toss will be a huge factor right now, considering the condition.
Trisha, coming to you, obviously it's going to be a very, very important next 10 days for India in the context of India in the World Cup because they are playing against three very strong opponents in South Africa, Australia, followed by England. So, how crucial will it be for India to show some consistency with regard to their batters, the bowling unit, and overall performance because they need to stick to their top form so as to get themselves well prepared for the much important clash against Australia.
Absolutely, Devashish, you have hit the nail on the head that, to be honest, when you said that the Indian batting was not up to the mark, India as a whole, the team, has so far played about 30% of their potential. To win against the next four teams, I will actually include New Zealand also in it, to the whole Sena country, as we say. So the next four matches are your Sena countries to, and that will decide your semi-final spot, whether you are in the semi-final or not. I think India now needs to take that level up to 120, not even 100, to beat someone like Australia. I mean, see, for example, Devashish, the last game itself, Australia were 76 for 7. From there, they went on to score 221 for 9. Number 10, Alana King scored a 51. So to beat a team like that, you cannot say that I will take the first two wickets or my openers are going to score and that's about it. Everybody has to perform, everybody has to turn up and give it more than their 100%. And the other factor that will be, I think, the biggest thing would be the fielding because against Sri Lanka and against Pakistan, you missed quite a few catches. It did not harm you because it was Sri Lanka and Pakistan. But obviously, South Africa, New Zealand, Australia, England, they're not going to give you chances. So I think overall, India needs to up their game at least three times or four times rather of what they have brought in so far.
Station, obviously, when you talk about these two teams, India and South Africa, India does have an edge. Means they both the teams head to head have played 33 matches, with India winning 20 of them and South Africa winning 12. But when it comes to World Cup, I was just going through the stats. Out of the five matches, India has won three, South Africa has won two. And last time, both these sides met in the World Cup, India were outstayed by South Africa, losing to the Proteas women. So, in that context, how crucial will it be for India to win this match?
Yes, absolutely. And if you remember the 2022 clash, I think it was a catch taken by Harmanpreet Kaur into the no ball, and ultimately South Africa,
Don't remind me. Don't remind me.
and ultimately South Africa won the match, and unfortunately we got knocked out of the tournament. But yes, as you mentioned that overall in terms of ODIs we have a better record. But when it comes to ODI World Cup, it has been a very good rivalry, I will say. 5 matches, three for India, two for South Africa. So as you mentioned, top four games are coming for you in this World Cup, and the first game is against South Africa, and it is absolutely crucial game because you have won two games in a row now, and you will look to continue the momentum, right? Three wins in a row will put you in a favorite position to get a place, secure place in the semi-final spot at least. So I think today there is a chance for India to at least seal their spot in the semi-final. Okay, one match is gone. Now in the next three matches they can stop position. If we manage to at least win one game, then only we can say that we are mostly secured for the semi-final spot. So I think again, with the current momentum and all, with the confidence and overall record, if you see in the recent past also, in the last year when South Africa took India, India played well and won the series also. So I think considering all these factors, India will look to continue the momentum and three wins in a three games. I think that will put India in a firm position.
Trisha, I have a question for you. Obviously, in the last series the series that India played just before the World Cup, as many as 800 runs were scored between India and Australia in one of the ODIs. But in this World Cup so far, we have seen very low scoring runs so far. Means obviously with New Zealand getting bowled out, South Africa getting bowled out for a paltry score. India struggled to get going in the two matches they have played so far. Australia at one point were winning against Pakistan 76 for 7. So do you think, means now that the focus has been shifted to Vizag, where India actually had a training camp before the World Cup started. So do you think it's kind of an advantage for India going into the match because they know the conditions were in South Africa. If I know they haven't played any single one women's ODI in this venue. So will it be sort of an advantage for India going into this match?
Before today, I would have, in fact, before yesterday, had you asked me this question, I would have said yes, probably advantage India. But you know what, Devashi, since yesterday, the pitch had to be covered because since yesterday there has been on and off rain and not drizzle. Yesterday it was like pouring at on and off. And then in the evening, all through there was drizzle every 15 minutes, then a 1 hour gap, then 15 minutes. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, be it the Colombo pitch, be it the Guwahati pitch, be it the Vizag pitch, all the pitches have had to be covered before the match, which means that there is moisture and sweating in the pitch. So if there is a chance, I see there's the covers. The brilliant work, Swapnil. Thank you. So yeah, as I said, because of the pitch being covered, the batting surface here, in fact, the first day when we came and we checked the surface, it was pretty flat. It seemed like 290, 300 should be the score. Asked Jemmy about the pitch yesterday. Jemima had come for the press conference, and she said, "Look, there will be a little bit of moisture because, of course, it was covered throughout the day, but it seems like a 270, 280 pitch. But it has not been like it was uncovered till today morning. Again, say about an hour back. Since an hour back, it has been completely covered. So again, there will be some bit of moisture. I think that is making batting a little bit of an issue. And the bigger problem which I've realized is, Devashish, if you bat first, for example, and there's still overcast conditions, the outfield is also becoming very slow. Something that happened to India on both the occasions. I think the chasing team got the outfield a little faster than the team batting first. So again, we can only hope that Harman wins the toss because I think this toss is going to be extremely important. And Indian captains, Devashish, as you know, do not win tosses. They just don't win tosses.
Sneha is coming to you. Obviously, as Trisha meant that toss will be a factor, and you also said that obviously with so much of rain around means obviously there will be a little bit of moisture on the wicket. So, do you reckon that it's a good case for India to play? Means obviously India will be in a dilemma whether to play Renuka, stick with Renuka Thakur or
Yeah.
going with an Amanjot Kaur. So, do you reckon that what would be the bowling conditions like?
Yes, actually, if we say according to the practice session that we observed, yeah, according to the practice session that we observed, then we both think that India might be tempted to play both Amanjot and Renuka. in the playing line. Yeah, and now considering the condition, I think now there is a high possibility that India might play both Amanjot and Renuka along with Kanti. So there is a chance that they might drop Snehana. Because if you see Snehana had a
Poor
fourth game,
outing,
yeah,
yeah.
fourth game against Pakistan and Sri Lanka. And then in the practice session, the day before yesterday, when India had, she was not having that rhythm that she is known for. You know, she was bowling shooters and all. So I think there is a high chance that India might go with three pacers, with Amanjot, Renuka, and Kranti, and then two spinners, obviously NC Charani and obviously Dipti
Deepti
Sharma as
Sharma,
well.
yeah.
So, by the way, rain has stopped. Rain has stopped.
Yes, rain has stopped.
So let's see. Now,
So that's great news that rain has stopped. Thanks for the updates, Snehasis. Trisha, if I may ask you, obviously, do you see India making three out of three? And what about Shriti Mandana's form? She has only scored 32 runs. In fact, the top order. Harmanpreet has scored only 40 runs. Shriti Mandana 32. Jamie Rodriguez 31. So the top three batters have literally contributed nothing. So do you reckon that Shriti Mandan and as you have reported, both of you have reported yesterday that both Shriti and Harman were there in the optional practice session. So do you reckon that Shriti
Jemmy
Mandana,
and Harman were there. Jemmy and Harman were there
Jimmy
in
and
the optional
right,
one.
right, right.
Day before
So
Smriti was there. Yeah.
yeah. So do you reckon that Shriti Mandana it will bounce back to form because India needs her to score runs?
Devashish, from what I've seen of Smriti Mandana over the years, and this is absolutely over the years. First things first, I would want Smriti Mandana to be back. Like entire India wants Smriti Mandana to score. But and I'm saying this because, of course, there's a pattern to everything. I remember in the 2017 World Cup also, the first two games she was brilliant, and then in the third game she was a little off form. Fourth game again she could not score, and then the entire tournament she could not bounce back. And this has happened to Smriti over a period of time. That when she is consistent, she scores truckloads of runs. But when she once she has got two low scores, she gets so desperate to be back that she ends up playing some desperate strokes, some desperate, she takes some desperate decisions. The other factor I think will also be if India bats first, then in these conditions, you cannot be desperate. You have to take some time, settle in, and then go for your shots. And Smriti, from whatever we have seen in the nets as well, wants to go for her shots immediately the moment she comes out. She wants to dominate the bowling. So I think, and especially when you don't have runs behind, you are the highest run getter. So much is expected from you. I think Smriti will be under extreme pressure, and that's why, unfortunately, I don't see her performing well today. It's. I hope I am proved wrong, but I don't see her performing today.
Yeah,
That's
Trisha,
there.
we all hope that you are proven wrong because India wants to
Exactly.
score runs no better
yeah.
an opponent than South Africa.
Absolutely.
City has scored truckload of runs. I was going through her stats. In 18 innings, Sriti Mandana has scored 906 runs at an average of almost 53. So that is incredible. So Snehasis, if I may ask you, uh, means obviously talking about South Africa, will it augur well for Sriti Mandana that she is pitted against an opponent against whom she has scored lot of runs?
Yes, absolutely. I think that will give her that confidence that yeah, I am playing against an opponent that I have done well over the years. But again, it's a new day, right? We have to again start from a zero, and we have to face a Madison cap with that pace, with that swing and all, and under this condition. So I think when you are not scoring runs, in two matches gone in World Cup, home World Cup, expectation is there. So and you are not scoring, as Kishadi mentioned, he will be under immense pressure. And under this condition, I think challenge will be there facing, Armanga Thaka, facing Mayasan Shah with the new ball. The challenge will be there. But again, if she manages to handle that pressure, she is capable of doing that. We have seen that. And if she gets that start that she's known for, then obviously once the second is broken, I think she can go and score a big run again against South Africa.
Devanshi, also, if I may add a point, I think it
Yes,
will
yes.
also be important how Laura Woolward actually places her field for Smriti Mandana. Something that both the Sri Lanka and Pakistan captain had done brilliantly. We all know how fluent Smriti is on the offside, and especially in the beginning of her innings. So what both Chamari Atapattu and Fatima Sana Khan had done is they put a deep point for Smriti. So even the good shots were going maximum for one run, and she's not used to it. She needs that feel of boundaries in the first 4 5 balls. So they had a deep point and a deep mid wicket. The two favorite shots of Smriti Mandana curtailed for just a single. That is where I think Smriti was getting desperate, and in fact, she was held out, if I'm not wrong, at deep point itself. Yes, against Sri Lanka, it was against deep point itself. Against Pakistan, she completely misjudged the swing. So you also have to see that how Laura Woolward goes about it. If she has the same kind of feel, then it is going to be much tougher.
Shreyas, obviously, yesterday both of you attended the press conference, pre-match press conference, and I was going through you, Trisha's article, Nadindi Clark mentioning that spin wheels is going to play a very important factor. So, considering that South Proteas batters' weakness against the spin, so do you think that it is going to be a tough call whether to play in that extra spinner or perhaps going in with three fast bowlers given the conditions?
Yes, I think one factor will work that both Prithvi and Sriyana are off spinners, right? There is no other variation. So you have when you have three spinners, you have two off spinner, one left arm spinner. And if you go through the last two matches of South Africa, they have dismissed mostly by the left arm spinner. They have been in trouble against the left arm spinner because Amelia Clark get two wickets. She is not an off spinner. She is a leg
Leg
spinner.
spinner.
And again, left arm spinner, Lindsay Smith and Sophia Kirsten were there. Charlton took two wickets. That is one off spinner. So yeah. So I think considering both off spinner in your lineup, so I think that is why India will be tempted to drop one, and that will definitely will be Shreyana because of the batting that Dipti Sharma is going to, and she is your pure all rounder. So you cannot drop her. So Dipti Sharma, and that is why. And now the conditions is also I think backing that decision that you must play three pacers because see, you want to play six bowlers, right? But that doesn't mean that you want to lesser your batting strength. When you are playing someone like Amanjot, Dipti as an all-rounder, that is also giving you cushion to the batting option also. But when you play only pure bowlers, that only give you the limited of five batters, and that can be a trouble for you in a tough games like this game. So I think that is why there is a high possibility that India might go with two spinners and three pacers under the system.
Also, Devashish, India does not have variation in the spin lineup. If you
No leg
see,
spinner.
there are four spinners, four main spinners, who are in the team for their spin bowling. That's Deepti and Sneh, both are off spinners, and you have N. Sri Charani and Radha Yadav, both are left arm spinners. So ideally, in these conditions, then you will want one off spinner and one left arm spinner, and get in Amanjot so that strengthens your batting as well.
Right. Trisha, talking about, let's just shift a little bit on South African bowling. Obviously, once again, Kaka and Marizan Kape, obviously, she's one of your favorite players. So, do you think that the initial duel, means Priti and Pratika Rawal, the initial duel between the Indian openers and the South African pacers, will set the tone of the match? Means if India gets going, provided they go on to bat first, if they can get through that initial overs, and obviously, as we were mentioning, that India needs to have a steady start. Means obviously they do not need to score at a brisk pace, but they need to balance it out. And if they get going, and how crucial will be that initial phase, the power play, I mean.
Absolutely. I think, in fact, in one of my pieces or Snehash's pieces, they had mentioned that Smriti Mandana versus Marizana Cap will actually define Indian innings. If she gets, see what happens is if you can get someone like Smriti Mandana very early, then India is straight up put in the back foot, and then South Africa can attack. That is where someone like Ayabonga Khaka or Masabata class will also become important. But I think the biggest fight or biggest, player to player, that player versus player matchup would be Smriti Mandana versus Marisane Cap. And last game, Cap got Susie Bates of the first ball. It wasn't even just first ball, the first balls of the innings, and there was sharp swinging. Yeah, I think if she bowls that middle leg channel, I'll tell you exactly why am I worried. Because in the next session also, then Renuka was bowling that middle leg channel to Smriti. Smriti was bowled once and she edged twice. So clearly she's not comfortable with that middle leg line, and then the ball is swinging in a little. Which is what, of course, Marizana Cap is going to do in the beginning. So I think that duel will set up the entire innings, because we both know that if Smriti goes out, if you get Smriti out, then Pratika and Harleen just completely slow down. And South Africa will get the chance to crawl in the game. So I think that is when Pluto versus Cap is going to be defining the Indian innings, whether we bat first, whether we bat second.
Smash, obviously, apart from the batting concerns, means obviously the top order batting concerns, another bit of worry for India is their fielding. Obviously, they have dropped catches and plenty of them, if I may wrong. Talk the fielding. Do you reckon that fielding needs to be improved? Someone like a Richard who has dropped as many as 4 catches against Pakistan.
Yes, absolutely. I think when it comes to general fielding, I will say more than catching is the ground fielding. I think the ground fielding needs to be improved for Team India. But specifically, if you say the wicket keeping of Richa Ghosh is a very good, very big concern. But as we reported earlier, also that the day before yesterday, when the practice session was on, special wicket keeping drills was there for Richa Ghosh, and she was going through that. She was having chat with the wicket keeping coach also. So it was so good to see that okay, they are putting the efforts. The efforts are there, and now we have to see whether the efforts are giving us the results or not. But yeah, it might not come instantly. Today also it might happen. Catches get dropped, but still, I think if there is some might happen. 50. Yeah, but still, if there is a sign of improvement, that is the positive. Okay,
Yeah,
that the team is putting the effort and she's improving game by game. Because it doesn't happen that one game you are so bad and instantly in the next game in 3 days time you are
absolutely.
you are doing superbly. So you have to give time, but the factor is that you have to work hard and you have to keep improving. That is the main thing. Because yesterday one thing that we have been talking about in different shows that different drills should come into play,
Yes,
for
different
keeping that
fielding drills.
fielding drills should come. Yesterday, when South Africa was practicing, there was a very unique drill for catching practice. So one of the support staff was throwing the loopy deliveries to the different fielders, right? And in a certain distance, some cones were there, and it seems like that the players have been told that the cones are there, and you have to take that as
So
a boundary rope.
yeah, the cones have to be treated as boundary cushion. So then that loopy periscopic catch, they have to go sideways and take it by one hand and throw it to the support staff. So it is basically the boundaries, the balls that they're trying to save. Uh, these are some things that we have been speaking about. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So it was so unique to see that that kind of a drill happening in South African camp. So I think this new kind of drill should come in Indian camp also because otherwise it will be difficult. Because if you are going through the same kind of drill for the last 7, 8 years and you are not improving, then it is high time to think that okay, some new drills should come in and that might help the team in the going forward.
Absolutely.
Trisha, obviously, if you talk a bit on Indian batting, do you think that India lacked that intent in the first couple of matches? And this is something to worry about, especially the captain, Smriti Mandana, Jamie. In fact, none of the Indian batters look to have bat with a content. So, something to worry about.
Absolutely. I think, the problem is, Debashish, and maybe people will get me wrong if I say this, but somehow Indian team lacks a bit of accountability when it comes to that. Even in press conferences, when you ask them questions that, are you worried about the strike rotation, which that doesn't happen. Against Pakistan, you have played 173 dot balls. Even in the toughest of conditions, 173 dot balls out of 300, you have wasted more than half the innings in dot balls. And you're playing good shots, but you're playing it straight to the fielder. So basically, if there are fielders at the correct position, and nowadays everybody has video analysts, so they know which player is going to play which shot. The fielder is exactly there, cutting those angles, and India is unable to rotate the strike. Once a batter is settled, if you actually look at it, Devashish, and I know you have been following very carefully, think of it. How many wickets can you say that the bowlers have taken and we have not gifted it to them? If you go through all the wickets, you will see most of them. Say a Jemmy against Sri Lanka is something, it was a brilliant delivery, especially first up. But in general, most of the wickets have been gifted. I mean, for example, Harmanpreet Kaur against Pakistan. How can someone get out in that ball? That was such a poor shot, and so I think what's happening here is Indian batters are putting pressure on themselves by just trying to hit fours and sixes. Intent doesn't mean that you have to hit fours and sixes. Intent also means forever Virat Kohli has played with intent. Did he come out and hit fours and sixes? Never. He was completely dependent on taking singles, twos, hitting the gaps. We don't hit the gaps. We don't practice drills to hit the gaps either. So it's worrying signs, and my worry is the effort that he spoke about when it comes to Richa Ghosh. I don't see that when it comes to strike rotation. We have not seen any drills being changed. We have not seen any cones being placed so that you can start hitting gaps. The same practice, in fact, Devashish, whatever I have seen the team practicing in the Australia series, it's the same net practice here as well. So you're basically not doing anything new. How are you going to get better if you don't do something new?
Right, right. So those are some harsh words from Trisha, but let's hope that Indian batters do show some intent in today's match. Snesh is coming to you for South Africa. Laura Woolworth will be the key, but has not fired much so far. How do you expect her to go strong today?
Yes, I think one of the best batters, not only for South Africa in women's cricket right now, and she has that quality to win the game single-handedly on her day. We expect that day should not be today. It can
Yeah,
happen after
we
after
don't.
this game, but still, but yesterday when the South Africa practice was going on, she was having some chat with the head coach and was talking about some stance and all, and we can
She
understand.
was pumped up.
Yeah, she was pumped up and she had a very brief, batting practice session. And I can understand that because we have seen, Laura Wolbert batting because she is a very beautiful batter, I will say.
In the sense, her batting is
Yes,
beautiful.
yes, 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 yes. So I think this is she will be eager to score today because she knows the importance of this game because the way the team played in the first game in England, it was so good to see that team made a strong comeback. Tasmin Bridge scoring that 100. At number three, Sunelu scored those important runs, being remained unbeaten. So it is so good to all the batters scored those runs, but as an opener, Laura Wood would love to start to contribute from today only. But again, as I mentioned, as an Indian journalist, you can say, Indian fan, you can say, we don't want that start from today. You can start it from the next match on.
But,
Also,
but Sneha,
Devashish,
can
I
I
think
ask Trisha now?
she will struggle against Kranti. I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
think that she
Obviously.
will struggle.
I will be coming to Kranti, but let me first ask Trisha. Obviously, Indian bowlers did not have to worry only about Laura Ulver. South Africa having their
Yes.
ranks someone called Tajmin Briggs. Obviously, she is in phenomenal form given the
Of
way she scored that 100 against New Zealand. And also, I was just going through her stats in 11 ODIs this year. She happens to be the most. They has scored the most runs. So obviously, when it comes to average. Obviously, Shriti Mandana has scored more runs than Tajmin. But do you think that it will be the battle between these two batters as to who gets going initially? Tajmin Briggs for South Africa and Shriti Mandana for India?
Absolutely, I think because Tajman Grits has been in the form of a life. And Debashish, I think we know her story. It's a fascinating story. She was a javelin thrower and she wanted to be an Olympian. But because of an accident, she could not be an Olympian. And at one point, she was suicidal. In fact, she wanted to end her life because of the frustration. Then turned to cricket, and then think of the amount of work put in, and the kind of run she is having against Pakistan just before the World Cup. She
Only
had.
this year now she has 5 centuries.
Yes, only this year she has 5 centuries, the first ever women's cricketer to do that in a calendar year, to have 5 centuries. So I think Tasmin Brits, to be very honest, while Laura Woolworth is the best batter by far by technique, if you see right now in women's cricket, technically and everything taken together, Smriti would come a close second. Tasmin actually, when it comes to technique and all,
Yeah.
might not
Yes.
come among the top five, but the kind of form, the kind of impactful innings she is playing, she will be much more important wicket. And especially if Tasmin Bridge gets going, because she scores quickly, Devashish, please don't put your shoe on my shoe. Thank you. So, as I said, if Bridge gets going, she scores briskly. which will help Woolworth to take her own sweet time, and we do not want any such thing. Just take Tasmin Brits out.
We are just about to see the toss happening. Swapnil, if you can take a few questions, please. Is there
Yes.
any? Because I cannot see any. If you can please flash the questions, if there are any.
Inspection 245.
Okay, just an update. There will be an inspection at 2:45 p.m. local time, which is about 15 minutes from now. And
Oh, no
after the
problem. So we can
inspection, yeah,
carry our discussion right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
All right, all right. So
absolutely,
because I am
absolutely.
not in front of any, so just
Uh,
keep me updated about the toss when it is happening. So, if I may ask this now. Ashish, I should have asked. In fact, I am asking you both. Means because Trisha, because this question is related to Madison Cap. Is there, if Madison Cap is there, legend of the game, but is still lacking support?
Yes, yes. I think me and Shishati have been saying this repeatedly that Madison Cap is doing her job. There is no doubt about that. At this age, the way she's bowling, that pace, that speed, she's doing phenomenal job. But the problem is that the lack of support from the other end, be it Ayabonga Thata, be it Masawata class, they are not looking that much of little, when it comes to taking wickets from the other. They even they are, I think, failing to create that pressure.
Yeah, five good balls followed
Yes,
by a bad ball.
yes. I think me and Trikheti was watching the last match against New Zealand. When Mason Cup was bowling, all six ball in a good length, and it's okay. One boundaries can happen in 2 overs, that is all. But when Khaka or someone like Class is bowling, three or four good balls, then two loose balls, and the pressure is gone. So when Mason Cup is coming to bowl in the next over, then she has to start again from the beginning to create that pressure and bowling for the wicket. So I think that is the problem that they are not, and I will say not in the pace department. The same thing happening in the spin department also. If you see only Malabar is the option there, wicket taking option. Against New Zealand, she took 4 wickets, right? But when it comes to the other spinners, be it Rohit Ryan, be it Sunil Luth, they are there to to play the supportive role, but they are not creating that pressure. They're not claiming those wickets, and that is quite a problem for South Africa in this World Cup. And if South Africa somehow didn't manage to qualify for the semi-final, then I think this will be the biggest reason for them, that lack of support to their prime fast bowler and prime spin bowler in this World Cup.
Trisha, the same question to you.
I completely agree with him. Just one thing, because I have seen Ayabonga Khakap over the years. I keep saying that I've seen people over the years, because yeah, I have been following women's cricket since I was a kid. So with Khaka, there is one distinctive quality that she has. On good days, on her good days, she is tougher to face than a Marizana cap. And the rest of the days, she gives away a lot of loose deliveries. Again, much like Woolworth, obviously Sneashish and I and Debashish do not want your good day to be today. But the conditions are such that Ayabonga Khaka could actually pose problems along with Marizane Cap. And if that opening combination works, then all of a sudden, while Masabata class isn't really a worry, I think someone like Nadine de Clark with her slow balls could actually be pretty, can bowl defining spells. So the moment, basically right now, South Africa actually has two wicket-taking bowlers, Malawa, the left-arm spinner, and of course Marizane Cap. But if Khaka has a good day, all of a sudden the thing changes. You have three wicket-taking bowlers and then the supporting bowler standing up. I wouldn't actually take Chloe Tryon out of the equation as well, because left-arm spin, even India has struggled against Nashra Sandhu, against Sadia Iqbal. Clearly, they have struggled. The only difference, Devafit, could be the speed in which the spinners bowl. Sena country spinners are a little faster than subcontinent spinners. That could be our advantage. But in general, I do think that South Africa bowling lineup is more their weakness than the batting lineup.
Yeah, more so. Trisha, do you reckon that more so the South African bowling, when you talk about bases, it has got something to do with the retirement of Sabnim Ismail? Means
Oh,
with Marizane
absolutely.
Cap and Sabnim Ismail and Khaka, they used to be relentless. Means when it comes to their fast bowling, but that is one
Absolutely.
area that has been that has been their concern. Means they cannot keep up the pressure.
Absolutely. Yeah, as I keep saying, like for example, I don't think India has found a middle order batter like Mithali. In the same way, I don't think South Africa has found an answer to the Shabnim Ismail, absence at all. Because Ayabonga Khaka in her best days won't be 30% of what Shabnim Ismail is. Shabnim Ismail had pace, swing, and and you know this, Debashis, because you cover a lot of men's cricket, especially I would say, at a pace when the ball swings, it's so difficult. So
Yeah.
Shabnam Ismail could run through batting orders in 3-4 overs, which is something that South Africa is completely missing, and that's why you will see that. Yeah, we can call them chokers as much as we want, but more than chokers, that's why they have made the semi-finals, they have made the finals, but they have not won tournaments. And I can proudly say from the bowler community that while batters win you matches, it's the bowlers who win you tournaments.
Yeah, obviously. Trisha, obviously, let's shift a little bit from today's match. Obviously, it's a huge occasion today. Mithali Raj is going to have a stand in uh,
Not today, Australia game.
Australia game, but it's the same venue. It's the same venue. That's why
Yeah,
I mentioned.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
kind of an historic thing because this is kind of a nice tribute to Mithali Raj. Means she has been a great ambassador for women's cricket in India. So award on Mithali and the way the Andhra Cricket Association has come out of their way that's a great gesture on behalf of Andhra Cricket Association.
Absolutely. If you ask me my answer, I think Devashish, you already know that if somebody in India, any women's cricketer in India deserved a stand, deserves to be respected this much and more and much more, that's none other than Mithali Raj, of course. And in one of the lives I was saying, players like Mithali Raj or Jhulan Goswami, especially these two players, they lots and lots of fun activities. Anybody can do some parties, fun activities. Anyone can join. This is inside the stadium. They have a car. And also we are having one more game with the wickets. And it's supposed to be over here. Anyone can join. They're trying to keep the audience, animated. But getting back to the topic, I think Mithali Raj and Jhulan Goswami are national treasures. So you can have their standing in any state, in any, and you should have had it. If I'm being very honest, there should have been a Mithali Raj stand by now. But it's better late than never. My first reaction, if I'm being very honest, I came inside the ground and I kept asking everybody that which is the stand that is going to be named as Mithali Raj stand. And I have a friend here with whom I had done the level A coaching course. So I met her after 12 years, after we had done the coaching course together. This was the first time we met her. So I asked her, the first question I asked her was not, hello, how are you? My first question was, ये stand कौन सा है? To me, I mean, it's a super feeling. I have grown up being inspired by
I
her.
know,
I hope she's not
I know.
listening to this,
I know, Trisha,
because she.
and having known you means that is for a good number of years. I know by now that how big
Yes,
a fan you are of Mithali Raj, and also Julan Goswami also has a stand of her
yes,
at the Eden.
absolutely.
So two
It's
great.
a big deal for me. I think it's an emotional time for me as well. Maybe when the stand will be unveiled, Sneashish can come back and tell you that probably I've shed a few tears as well because extremely, extremely proud and emotional moment.
Right. Sriyasri, if I may ask you, do South Africa have enough India spinners? Obviously, you mentioned about Malaba, but
The sun is out.
yeah, South Africa, is it raining again? Is it raining again?
No,
No, the sun is out. The sun is out.
Oh, brilliant. So, do you think that South Africa have enough fans as far as the spin department is concerned?
no, I think the team department is quite missed. I think you need a day like what Malaba had against New Zealand.
New
Right?
Zealand, yeah.
And for that you need some catches like Laura Wilbert too. That is also a factor because Malaba is also someone who doesn't turn the ball that far.
Yeah.
And she is also what Kishan is saying that the subcontinent spinners hold at a decent space
Yeah.
and they vary the pace well enough to to disturb the bat. But when it comes to overseas with with Malaba, they generally go to a certain pace, and that will the differentiate the pace. That will be a difference of only 2 or 5 kilometers. Not
Mm.
but if you ask the last day when Sada Iqbal bowled Pratikara, right? The ball that Pratika Rawal hit her for four. It was 76 kilometers. The next delivery, she bowled 84 kilometers. So it's about 8 kilometers difference. And ultimately, Pratika didn't understood and the ball hit the off stump. So I think that is a, I think, as you mentioned, I think the spin will be a concern for South Africa. If India managed to somehow initially manage to handle the spinners, I think then it will be difficult for the South Africa spinner to take wicket. But again, I am saying this is a problem for South Africa that on if any player is there, any player can have a bad day, right? Man can have a bad day. Ultimately,
No.
she's also I'm saying hypothetically, yes. And as a human, you can have a bad day.
But
You know,
she's not human. That is there.
yes. But for Malabo also, you
Yeah.
can have a bad day, but there is no other one who will say, okay, on that bad day, here's a bowler, Rahul will say, okay, she can step up. Or she will say, okay, give the ball, I will step up. So that is a problem for South Africa, but let's see. I think today all the things will have depend on the opening spell of Adanga Thaka and Michael Cap. If they start early, then the spinner will have it easy to create pressure on the Indian back.
If I can be a bit of devil's advocate here, while I don't think the spin is very threatening, but there is one thing that they have which we probably don't have is the variation in spin. Because Malaba is left arm, but she's not going to turn the ball a lot. She's and while Chloe Tran is a left arm spinner, yes, but she's going to come. She's a speedy bowler. The arm ball is extremely dangerous, and then there is Sunelu, who's a straight up off spinner. So I think the variation is in bowling is a lot more when it comes to South Africa, but lines and lengths, have to be correct for those variations to come to.
Okay, so let me ask you both any battles that you are looking forward to in today's match?
Yes, absolutely. I think if you ask me, obviously Laura Woolbert versus Kanti Gaur, or maybe you can say Renuka Singh Thakur also, because
Yeah.
both of them are capable to come up with this improving delivery with the new ball. And in this condition, they will do it. I am definitely sure about that. And that can trouble Laura Woolbert because, as you mentioned, be it Smriti Mandana, be it Laura Woolbert, they are not having that much of confidence, right? Because runs have not come. So I think in the initial stages, be it Mason Cap or Abanga Rata for Satavika or as I mentioned, Renuka Thakur or Kanti Gaur, if they come up with the swing deliveries that can trouble this batter. So I think again the new bowling pair, new ball, bowling pair of South Africa against Smriti Mandana and again vice versa, new ball bowling pair of India against Donald Butt. I think these batters will be crucial.
It will be basically opening bowlers versus opening batters that will define the game completely in both the innings.
Talking about the opening bowlers, Trisha, obviously both of you follow the women's game very closely. Kranti Gaur means of emergence of Kranti Gaur obviously was the man of the player of the match in that last game against Pakistan. Someone who has made her debut 5 months back. The emergence of Kranti Gaur means how do you think that it's the biggest positive for Indian women's cricket?
Absolutely. We are a country that's starved of pacers. We know that this is the problem across both the games, be it men's cricket, be it women's cricket, and women's cricket it's worse. Spinners are born by the day, while pacers, I think, by the millennium. That's rare. And then to get a pacer who has the pace plus the swing, which is a deadly combination. Also, she has a bit of feistiness about her, which makes her an X factor on the field as well. If you look at Kranti, the kind of confidence that Kranti has in her abilities gives you so much hope as an audience, as a viewer. If you're looking at her, you almost know that, okay, she is going to give her 400%. The only thing is, at times, she will not have the best of days. What will be important to see is she's very young right now. She has a long way to go. How can she ensure that she keeps this momentum going? Because, for example, the feistiness that I'm talking about was there in Titash as well. She became injured and then she could not make a comeback, lost a lot of pace. So I think all these things taken into consideration, India too have to be careful about how much they use it. I think problem is in India at times I feel the workload management word comes only once a player is already been injured. But before the injury, like for example, I was telling him that Against Pakistan, why do you need to play Krantikar? You don't need to play Krantikar against Pakistan. Against Bangladesh, you don't need Krantikar. So maybe you can then give her a bit of a break so that you can have her for the more important matches. But as of now, I think it is so good to see her bowl. One of the best things in the match, in the even in the nets, to see her bowl is so lovely.
It's very energetic.
Yeah.
Guys, any update on, because there's going to be an inspection at 2:45, so it's already 2:46 now. If you are getting any,
So
because what I
basically,
from
the pitch report has come
under
as
covers.
of now. The pitch report has come, and Mithali has done the pitch report. She has said that while the pitch, you have to keep it the phone a little here, no? While the pitch was under covers for a while, and that might assist the seamers, but all in all, a good wicket to bat. Who better than Mithali Raj can see a good wicket to bat on?
Okay. So you reckon that whoever wins the toss would love to bat on this wicket and post a total, because anyway, if you or rather you would go bowl first
I think
before.
we'll go for bowling first. I think we'll go for bowling first because the way the sun is up all of a sudden, Devashish, this pitch is going to ease out pretty quickly. And this is a weird weather I'm seeing. This is the kind of weather that I was promised in UK. I don't know why am I getting that in Vizag. We came, we got, we saw the drizzle, then the drizzle stopped, and all of a sudden the sun is right up there, high, scorching. I mean, it's so hot that we are sweating while we are standing
Yes.
here for the show. We are not prepared.
But are you getting any? What time will the toss happen?
No.
No, there isn't
Okay.
anything on the toss yet, but it will happen very soon because it is cleared up completely, and the toss should ideally happen in another 2 3 minutes. Must
All right, Tracy, if I may ask you, what do you reckon would be the possible lineup for South Africa? Obviously, we know that there is still some time for the toss to happen. So let's just discuss a bit about the likely playing 11 for both teams. I first go to Snehashish as far as the South African 11 is concerned. Likely playing 11.
Yes, I think we will go with Anchis playing 11 because see, to us, both of us, we both will like to see any direction in action because we expect, we think that that young girl can be the X factor for South Africa, not only this World Cup, for long term in coming years, can be the next big thing in world cricket. But right now, 2 games gone, she has not managed her place in the playing level. But and whatever the practice that we saw yesterday, it is highly possible that even today also we will not see any direction in action. So, but we both think that they will go with the unchanged playing level for the last game, and that is obviously Raul the captain and Tasmin Reeds at the start. Then Sunelu at number 3, Mazin Cap at number 4, NFA Bosch at number 5, Sinal Zapta number 6 and the wicketkeeper batter, Tua Tryon, Nadine Clark, Masabata Class, Ayabonga Khata and obviously non-Kulova Malak.
So you reckon that South Africa will go unchanged for this match?
Yes, yes, that is right. Because yesterday also we were keeping an eye on any direction, whether she is
yeah.
having a special practice or something or not. But the participation in the practice session was very limited. Be it Miana Smith is anyway the reserve,
Yeah.
but still Miana Smith and she was bowling lightly and all,
Yeah.
nothing batting practice that much. Sinalo Raptor, Sunil, Mayadan Cap all are practicing. So I think it is going to be an playing 11 for today.
Trisha, if I may ask you, last time both these sides played in India, India had 3-0 win. And also they carried it forward to another couple of wins against them. So that will give them a psychological edge before heading into today's match.
Absolutely. I think if you have defeated a side for 5 consecutive games, then you must be doing something right against that side, right? So that is where I think the advantage here is completely with India. But unfortunately, the situation is, and I'm being very frank, the situation of the ground is such that the toss will play a major factor here. Also, the law of averages is something that we are very scared of. We were scared of our Smriti Mandana, and that is exactly what has happened. Just entering into the World Cup, her law of averages. In fact, I remember somebody was telling me, why do you not want Smriti to perform in the Australia series? Because I was like, I don't care we lose Australia series 3-0 or not. We need to win the World Cup. So let her not perform in the Australia series in the World Cup, let her perform. But of course, she was phenomenal in the Australia series. But here in the World Cup, it has been difficult. And 5-0 against South Africa. South Africa will be raring to go. Players like Marizane Cap, Laura Woolward, they would want to set it right. The other part is, of course, Tasmin Ritz scored against us as well.
Yes.
But Tasmin Ritz right now is in a separate world
Yes.
completely. So it will be much, much more difficult this time round. We are just hoping that they can make it 6-0.
Right. And a word on the likely playing 11 for India, Trisha. Do you see India going unchanged, or Amanjot Kaur coming in straight away?
Yeah, I think Amanjot Kaur coming in straight away. In fact, with the conditions, I'm quite sure there will be one change. Sneh Rana will be sitting out, and Amanjot Kaur will be coming in. So the playing 11 will be the usual suspects: Smriti Mandana, Pratika Rawal, Harleen Deol, Harmanpreet Kaur, Jemima Rodriguez, Richa Ghosh, Deepti Sharma. Sorry, I think Amanjot might come ahead of Deepti. So Amanjot, Deepti. Then it will be Kranti Gaur, N. Sri Charani, Renuka.
Right. So that's the only change. Sneh Rana making way for Amanjot Kaur. So obviously she
Amanjot
missed the
Kaur,
match
yeah.
last Pakistan because of FIFA. So
Yeah.
plenty to look forward to, but we are just waiting for the toss to happen. We have almost Trisha. Means for the first time, I am involved in a women's cricket chat for almost more than 50 minutes. I don't know how the time went by, but
It's a
yes,
long
I am
debut.
quite excited and I am enjoying. As I have been
I,
telling
I
you,
think the players
I
have come out because I can
Yes.
hear the scream.
I think so.
I think no, I'm sure that they're screaming. So I don't know
Oh,
whether it's because of
India
the.
support stuff walks up.
There you go. Some of the Indian support staffs have walked out, so that's why
Okay.
everyone
Hope
started
solution
screaming.
for that.
Yeah, but you can still have the
Yeah.
toss even if the outfield is covered because after the toss you still get half an hour. But
let
yeah,
me have a
so
look.
if the toss happens at 3, interesting part will be yeah, whether you lose overs or not is the bigger part of
Yeah, the big chunks of the
it.
outfit are still covered right now. That is the update that we are
Yeah,
getting. So still some time for the toss to happen, you reckon?
toss might still happen in a bit, but yeah, it will take some time for the match to start. Why don't we go inside maybe, and we can keep updating because we are already 50 odd minutes into the show, and
Yeah,
also we have to
and
walk
if you
a
require a
little on.
quick live, I am there. So if you want me to join, just send me a text message and I'm there. I'm there. So let's just
Okay.
wrap up this
Sure.
live for now. Means obviously we don't know as of yet when the toss might happen. It might happen soon, but there are the outfield. The outfield is still covered. So let's hope that the toss happens soon. So that's it for now. Thank you, Trisha, and thank you, Shreyashis. Let's hope India goes on to make it 6-0 against South Africa, 6 consecutive wins, and obviously, as Shreyashis and Trisha both said, it's going to be a very, very important clash against South Africa. If they go on to win against South Africa, obviously they will have one foot forward in making it to the semi-finals. On that note, we are wrapping up this live for Acha. The toss, another inspection is happening at 3:10 p.m. So that's
Yes.
another
Okay.
15 minutes from now. So let's wrap up this slide right now, and we will come back again as soon as the toss happens. So until then, keep watching this space, and we will be back during the main live and also the post-match live. And thank you, everyone.
Yeah, mostly let's come back in the mid innings after this. Most